Hello and welcome to brand new episode of Android programming. In this episode, we will be looking forward to starting of Android programming, and in this episode, we'll be moving towards the first phase of Android Studio. Myself, Tom from SOU, and in this session, we will know or we will start using Android Studio. Inside of Android Studio, we will create emulator. We will know about different extensions of files inside Android Studio and its path, the extension and directories of different files inside Android Studio. We will try and run first application inside the emulator of Android Studio, and we'll also try to develop APK file in order to run the application that we have developed on our Android devices. So basically, these are the things that we will be trying to do throughout the session. So let's get started on uh, playing with Android Studio. Moving forward, I'll be showing you all with how to actually install and how to actually start playing with Android Studio. So moving forward, let's see how or what Android Studio actually is and how it looks like. All you need to do, as I have showed you in the previous session of Android programming, in the previous webinars, I have introduced how to or from where to download uh, the Android Studio files. So after downloading those files, you need to install them, and this is how the Android Studio looks like. Here you can see every menu that's like of other IDEs. This is how Android Studio looks like. We've got file menu over here, edit, view, and different other menus, which we will be familiar by the time we move forward and by the time we start programming. Here in the file menu, you can see new, open, open recent, and different other menus. In order to start developing an Android application or Android project, you need to go to new menu where you can see new project, import project, and different other menus over there. In order to create new project, simply go and click on new project inside the new menu. Since Android Studio is the development of Android application inside of your operating systems, it's definitely going to be a bit slower than development of any other application. Since it's a development of mobile application on your operating system, like Windows, Linux, or any other operating system that you use. As you can see, mine, it's a case of Windows, so it'll be a bit slower when it comes to development of Android application. So the new window has already popped up, which says that we need to give the name of application. And I will be giving the application name as first Android. So my application name is going to be first Android application. And it is located under my C drive, under my user's profile, inside Android Studio projects, where the folder will be Android Studio. So after giving the name of Android application, I have just clicked on the next button over there. After clicking on the next button, you'll see the new interface which says for what platform you're developing your application to. Here I have checked phone and tablet, and minimum SDK is API 15 and Android operating system of ice cream sandwich. So you can choose any other option that you may want, but here I will be choosing ice cream sandwich or any other operating system. It's a minimum requirement for your application or the application that you are about to develop. So after your first project is created, all you need to do is you have to start playing with your different default files over here. Once your file, once your project is ready to being played, you have to keep on playing with your different extension file here. As you can see on the left hand side of your screen, which consists of your project. This is the first Android project that we have just created a couple of minutes ago. You can see that there is a Android manifest with XML, different file over here, the XML files especially, and this user interface that is indicating how your project will actually be looking if it is allowed to run on your mobile phone. Actually, we can develop our own mobile emulator over here inside of Android Studio. I am using Android Studio 2.1. I have already introduced about installation process of Android Studio and Android SDK Manager in the previous webinars. So I hope that will not be any issue for any of you that are watching the webinar right now. If you have any comment about installation of Android Studio and the installation of Android SDK Manager, then please feel free to write to us. And if you will come to meet any kind of installation errors or any kind of technical errors during the making a file, you can also write to us, because Android Studio is surely going to give you lots of stopping points when you start developing your application. Even getting up to here will be a bit of hassle for you if you are a real beginner. So you don't have to worry on any of those stopping points if you find while coming up to this point, because those problems those problems can be solved when we move forward. And I will be helping you all if you have any such problems reaching up to here. So moving forward, you can see that we have design and text over here. Design definitely is showing our user interface, how it will be looking, or what kind of view we will have when our application is actually executed on our mobile application. So uh, if we switch towards the text of the application, we will see the XML text over here. There is a little small text over here, which I will be showing you in the design. We can also zoom in here from the magnifier plus over here. Definitely you'll be seeing hello world text that's been displayed. This is not what I have written. This is developed in a default manner by the IDE, that is Android Studio 2.1 version. This is actually developed by the file over here, context underscore main.xml. Definitely it's open here. It is situated inside the layout folder. If you open the activity main.xml, you'll also be seeing the same thing. Now, if you move towards the text of the Android activity main underscore main XML, and if you try to look at the text over here, it is quite a bit similar to content main XML. The content main XML is trying to display the text design code over here, and it is displayed by the text view. And this all text view is a tag. It's a XML tag of Android, which is again inside of the relative layout. We will be playing with this all code in detail, and I will be introducing all of techniques to play with this code and to develop your own XML file later on. But right now, I'm just trying to give you the surface introduction of all the extension file. What are these files and why are this file important, or what this file actually do with your Android user interface. This is the UI that's developed by the Android Studio inside of your project for Android over here. If you look at the Java folder over there, this is the logical code the Java folder contains. There are lots of other Java files inside of this. I will be moving with all those files individually, but before that, these two XML files, as I have also introduced about XML files in the previous webinars, saying that XML are made for displaying your user interface, and the Java files are the controllers of those XML files. This XML file, this user interface actually is displayed by the help of activity main.xml file, which has its own predefined tags inside of it. It consists of Android layout width, which is the wide of this screen, how much wide you want to give to your applications contained. The Android layout height over here will describe how much height you'll be displaying for your applications content. This is the theme over here. It's all about your displays quality, or displays varieties. You can select from this theme over here. Similarly, there are different other tags. This is for toolbar, this is for app bar layout. Different tags are there. If you move to contains main_XML, you can see these two lines at first are the beginner line. This is a standard way to start your XML. Every XML file inside an Android application or Android project will have these lines in common. You don't have to write all this by yourself. This will be created by the IDEs like Android Studio itself. The same thing is in here, like Android layout, width, layout, height, padding button. These are all about how to display your applications content, how to display your application itself. So we will go and we'll modify all of this by the time we will start coding. Before actually going to coding, I want to introduce you something more, like this main activity file over here. This is situated inside the Java folder over here, which is again the container of the first Android. This is a package over here. This is the name of our project, Post Android, which is situated inside of com.example, the user's name, dot the project's name. So main activity over here is a Java program or Java code which looks like this. Definitely there is the package over here, and as simple Java programming, it is a combination of different packages. We have different packages being imported over here. In every Java program of an Android application, this kind of code are common, which are also generated by the Android Studio itself. The bundle is the name of the package, name of the class file which is inside of the OS package, which needs to be imported in order to start developing your Android application. Different other classes are imported. You can say this is a pure Java code which can be used to control our activity main.xml file. If you look at the content main XML again, and its design over here, it is displaying hello world, which is a string. It is basically displayed because the Android text over here is set to be hello world over here. I mean to say that this hello world is a text which is getting displayed over here at this part of the application, because the text view is a tag over here which contains the Android text to be hello world. So basically, this design, the text over here, hello world, is displayed only because the text view is a tag which consists of text, which is Android text. It's a predefined tag, consists of hello world, the string. And if you look at the layout width, it is defining it as wrap content. Wrapped content means the text view should be as longer as the string's content over here. So the text view will be as longer as hello world, and the height will also wrap the content. We will see and modify all of this in order to know what actually this can make, or what's actual difference of wrapping the content or any other text. What are the tags available, or what are the keywords available to be replaced over here. So I'm just trying to give you the surface explanation on what content main XML actually does and how it is displaying this content. Now let's move to main activity.java, which I was just starting. It contains a Java program. It has few classes which are imported, and the name of the class is main activity. So unlike the other Java programs which consists of public static void main, we don't have public static void main over here. It consists of the main activity, the Java file, which is the main class. In fact, this is the class with the help of which the logical code gets going. This is the main starting. It's a kind of like first Java program which will be pointed whenever this application is going to be in the execution phase. So the execution phase of the program will be pointing towards main activity. And in the layout, the activity main XML is the main file when it comes to executing the application. The main activity Java is the main class. So it's given the name main activity, which extends app compact activity. App compact activity is application compatible activity, which is, as you can see, is imported from this package right here. If we move forward, there's an override over here, which is indicating that this onCreate is a predefined method. It's a predefined method which consists of one argument, that's a bundle as an argument, which is again a class from this package right here. The method onCreate is overridden. This is what the code is inside of onCreate method. The onCreate method is actually pointing towards the activity main, which is our this activity main. That is, R is the resources folder or package. Inside of it, we have layout. This is the layout over here, and it's the activity main. So the main activity of Java is a pointer, is the first program which will be pointed by the application when it is in the execution phase, and this execution phase program is now pointing towards activity main. This is the activity main file, which is this one, and this definitely is displaying our hello world. So again, moving back to this Java file, different things are again assigned, like toolbar over here is a class, its object is made, and it is again calling find view by id and r.id.toolbar. There's a toolbar over here in activity main. This is the id toolbar, and it is pointed over here inside the main activity.java file at this line over here. What I'm trying to say, or what I'm trying to show you, that this Java file is a logical programming side. It's a programming file. Actually, this is a logical part of the application. It is directly pointing towards the activity main. It is pointing towards the designing phase, the designing phase of your application. And designing part consists of all the user interface components. That means this Java file right here and the XML files, this couple of XML files and this main activity.java file are interrelated in order to execute your Android application project. All of you should be able to know that this is the basics. This is the basic of your Android application development. Every Android application file, that is the APK file, Android application package, will have this kind of code inside of it. Every of them. So this is just a beginning on how the files actually are placed inside of your Android Studio. And what you should be knowing is that if you have to modify or if you have to add something, you'll be adding somewhere in between this. This layout will be giving you the user interface view. The main activity over here will be giving you the rights to control those user interface. And where I am trying to introduce you all with this kind of code over here is, this is the basic part and this is the default part. If you start to try to play with your Android application, you will be playing along with this kind of files, and you'll be modifying the files somewhere in here, in this kind of files. So you have to know about this kind of file in detail, and you'll be more familiar when you will start from very basic, like this one. So these are just the simplest file, the designing file, the tags inside of it. I haven't described you about all these tags, but I'm just trying to say that this kind of files are located in somewhere in this kind of directories. Now I'll be showing you how to set up the emulator before actually going to modify these codes, because you need to know how to actually run your application before you try to modify the codes. So let's go ahead and see how we can develop emulator, or how we can develop the APK file. In order to develop an emulator inside of Android Studio, we'll be moving forward towards the Tools menu. In the Tools menu, you can see there is Android and sub-menu. Go to Android AVD Manager. It gives you another window. This window consists of create virtual device button over here. This is my default one, as I have already developed another AVD manager, that's the Android Virtual Device Manager, which is an emulator. An emulator is something which allows you to give your application a view how it runs on your Android device. It's a emulator with the help of which you can actually run your Android application inside of your computer. If you don't have any Android device, there is no need to worry. You can run your Android application inside of your computer, inside of your system, regardless of your operating system. You can run Android application inside Android Studio on any operating system. So in order to do that, we'll be making a emulator, that is AVD. It's a virtual device, so let's create a virtual device. When I press the create virtual device button, I got another window which is showing that there are plenty of choices over here. I can use any of this, but keep on your mind that if you use a lower quality device, I mean lower size of resolution of your Android device, the faster your application or faster your project will run. For example, if I choose Nexus 1 as virtual device, which has the resolution of this much and the screen size is 3.7 inch, this will run a bit faster than this one over here, which is 5.2-inch size, that is Nexus 5X, which has resolution of this much. If I use this Nexus 5X, my virtual device will execute a little bit slower because it will have to produce the virtual device of high resolution like this rather than the one over here. In my case, I will be using Galaxy Nexus or any other device. There are plenty of other choices. You can choose any. The more faster will be this one because it has lowest resolution. This is just a creation of emulator inside of your operating system in order to run your Android application. So just feel free to choose any of this. So let me choose. I will be choosing Nexus 4. Okay, 4.7 inch, 768 by 1280 pixels of resolution, density XSDPI. So after choosing this device over here, I will be clicking on next. These are the operating systems that your Android Studio will launch on your AVD, that is Android Virtual Device. So I'll be choosing Marshmallow, the operating system, to run on my Android Studio's emulator. So AVD name will be Nexus 4 API 2.3. This is the Nexus 4 screen, that is 4.7 inch, and this is the resolution of my emulator. This is going to be my emulator's resolution. Go to Show Advanced Settings so that you can actually set up your device's hardware configuration, that is your emulator's hardware configuration, because Android application development is directly associated with the hardware. You have to take care of your hardware's configuration as well, because Android application development is that kind of development which actually plays with your hardware. Your Android device comes with certain RAM, certain storage, certain memory space. Your Android application will be playing with those hardware in order to make it execute properly inside of your device. So let's go a little bit down and set up our memories and storage. Our memory should be at least of 1 GB. So I'll be placing 1 GB over here in my RAM and leaving all other as it is. I just changed RAM to be 1 GB and click on finish afterwards. Now, since I have already created, this was my previous one, and now I have created new emulator. So it's saving my configuration that I have saved right now. It'll take a little bit of time, and in the meantime, when it's saving my AVD's configuration, I'll be introducing, or I'll be showing you how our Android content main.xml or our activity main.xml can be modified. I'm not able to use any other portions inside of it because my AVD is getting saved. So you can see now my Nexus API 2.3 is created, which shows size and index to be 650 MB. You can again go and edit your AVD if you want. You can simply go and click on the edit this AVD button and go to show advanced setting if you want to change. I have actually placed this to be 1 GB, but somehow not using that, so I am again changing this. So it'll be again saved every time. Every time you modify that, the AVD will be updated by your IDE, that is Android Studio. In the meantime, what I want to show you is after installation of your Android Studio, what you have to do is you have to go on your default settings path, which is your C drive. If it's a case inside of your, if it's a your operating system is Windows, you have to give the path of your Android SDK. In my case, I have placed Android SDK directly inside of C drive. Definitely when you will be creating your AVD, that is when you are creating your emulator, just the way I did right here, your operating system will ask for the location of your Android SDK. Android SDK can be downloaded from internet anywhere. It's open source program, so you can download it for free. After downloading your Android SDK, the Android SDK folder should be placed in here. And whenever your IDE asks for the path of Android SDK, you'll have to place that Android SDK folder, and you'll have to give the path of your Android SDK. What's actually inside of Android SDK for Windows or any other operating system is it consists of different folders like this. And the main thing that this Android SDK does is it has AVD Manager, which we just created right here. That is Android Virtual Device Manager. And the other is SDK Manager, that is Software Development Kit Manager. The SDK Manager and AVD Manager together gives you the platform for the development of Android application. So Android Studio will be looking for the path of your AVD Manager and SDK Manager. And even after you give the path of this Android SDK for your operating system, if it again is asking or it is showing some errors, then go ahead and start your Android SDK Manager. To start that, just double click on your SDK Manager, which is an application file. It'll start one different window, which in my case will be starting very soon because I've already, yeah, this is the one that I'm trying to show. This is the Android SDK Manager. Your Android Studio will be showing problems if any of these files are not installed. If they are not installed, then your system will be showing you problems. Just go ahead, start the Android SDK and check the button and install all those packages which are not installed. In my case, it is already installed. If you guys have any kind of problem installing the SDK managers or inside of this SDK build tools, if you have any problem installing them, please write to me. I'll try to solve any of your problems. So for now, I'll just show you how the emulator is to be started. Here I can start any of this. Since this is a 650 MB file it's taking, it's just because I have already one emulator which is a 1 GB file, so it might not have been able to take space more than of that. So I'll be starting this one. You can even start this one, but as this is 1 GB file, emulator, the RAM with 1 GB file, so it'll be quite faster than this one. So I'll be going ahead and starting this one here. When you click on this button, you'll see that this is giving you information that AVD is getting started. It will definitely be taking some time to develop or to start your emulator, because emulator is something that is running or that is getting executed on your different operating system, but is developing environment for some other operating system. What I'm trying to say is, if you try to run this one, it will be taking time just because I am running this Android Studio on my Windows, and it is developing the environment for Android operating system. That is, Android operating system is different operating system, different platform. So definitely it will be taking some time to start your emulator. So I'll be showing you how the emulator looks like. And in the meantime, when emulator is getting ready, so you can see here, hardware accelerator manager is working and emulator runs in fast virtual mode. Emulator is getting ready right now. It will be popping up soon. Here you go. Emulator is definitely getting ready. This is our Android mobile phone inside of our Android Studio. So this screen will slowly boot. It will give you Android's logo in here. You'll be able to see that soon. And in the meantime, I'll be showing you how to develop our APK, because development of emulator is inside of Windows. The making of Android application file, that is APK file, Android application package, in order to run your application in your Android device directly will be the faster process. If you don't have an Android device, this is the best way to go, that is emulator. And if you have Android device with you during the time of your application development, you can simply go to build and generate signed APK. Click on it. This asks for keystroke path, that is where to store your Android APK file. Let's just go and create new. It is again asking for the path, so just browse, click on browse button there. Just give one any path that is suitable for you. I'll be giving this path and give a file name. For example, I will be giving it first Android the keystroke.jks. So you need to save it. It's saved in here. Give a password. I'll be giving 1 2 3 4 5 6 as a password. 1 2 3 4 5 6. We are developing a APK file during the time when this is getting loaded. You can see Android emulator is booting right now. This is a slower process because it is developing a different environment inside of our Windows operating system. No matter if you are using Linux or iOS, it will be the same process. So give the name, the alias, it will be first Android app. So give the password. I'll begin giving the same password 12346. Last name, home. You can give organization unit. You can type any information over here. It's saying that validity years, 25 years, so the Android application will run without any obstacles. So click on OK. It will be taking some time because my operating system is playing with emulator as well as making APK. So after giving username and password, just click on next and click on finish. Once it's done, your APK file will be building, and APK file will be inside of your C drive, users. Inside of users, you will be able to see Android Studio projects. This is the folder that I was talking about previously. This is the first Android. This is the project. And if you search for the .apk file, you should be getting your APK file if it's developed, if the process of development is completed. In my case, the building process is still on. So let's see whether it's built or not. Seems like it's still in the process of development because processors are getting busy because of the booting process of Android emulator inside of Android Studio. So it will be taking a couple of more minutes to load the emulator. You can see the development process over here. There are different notifications that Android Studio is developing and giving you the notification instantly after every process. If you get any kind of error message over here, you just have to feel free to notify me that you are getting this kind of error. So far, I don't have any kind of error here. If there are any error on your screen, please write it to me. I'll try to solve all of those errors as quickly as possible. This Android emulator is still booting on my case. I'm checking the APK file whether it's developed or not. Again, save the APK file. Searching. You can see the APK file is developed. This is there are different APK files, but we need this one. So this is the APK file that's developed. So let's copy this and let's paste it somewhere. In the your tail when military is in the putting more and some well, the process definitely will be your developing uh, files as well as operating system 7. I'm sorry, Windows 8 is developing the Android. I recommend all of you by yourself